Hi everybody, welcome
Hi.
to the Elliot and April Show podcast. Today we are going to be reacting to 8 surprising differences between the UK and USA that aren't obvious. Have you ever been to the US?
No.
I have once,
Never.
New York in 2005, so
Wow.
I am really intrigued to see what this is going to be. I have been to the Caribbean and stuff, but I mean mainland America.
No.
Let's just go and take a look. So I'm very intrigued.
And nobody had a single clue of what to do with it. People just drove straight over the middle, thinking that it was kind of just there for fun if you wanted to.
Oh, that's the intro. I thought she's gone straight in.
She's gone straight there.
This is
Hey guys, welcome back to the Girl Gone London channel.
I should say this is the Girl Gone London, so go and give her a subscribe, go and show some love in the comments. Let's carry on.
If you're new here, my name is Kaylin. I'm an American who's lived in England for almost 10 years. And today I am going over 8 little known differences between the UK and the US. So I've gotten some positive feedback on my other videos about the differences between the UK and the US, but a lot of the things that people often talk about are pretty obvious. We know that we drive on the different side of the road here, and some basic language that people might use here that we've heard in the US in terms of like British movies and TV shows. But I really enjoy talking about the little nuanced things that you might not have realized are different. So if you are interested in more UK versus US information, about living abroad in the UK from somewhere else in the world, definitely make sure to subscribe. That's how you'll get new videos and know that I've posted more.
Subscribe.
So the first difference between the UK and the US that people often don't talk about is that the keyboards are actually different. So the UK keyboard doesn't have, it has the letter keys in the same exact places, but the UK keyboard is going to add in a pound sign, which we don't have in the US. Funnily enough, my UK keyboards do actually have a dollar sign as well. And there are also a couple other things that are in different places depending on the keyboard. Like the @ key is sometimes in a different place, and like the quotes key. I had no idea that they were different in this sense when I first moved to the UK. And I remember being in the computer lab in the university I was studying at, and it was so frustrating because every time I would go to type a particular key or symbol, it was always the wrong one. So that is the first difference that people might not mention. If you buy a laptop in the UK or a keyboard in the UK, some of the symbols are in different places. Okay, the next difference has to do with eggs. So let's first talk about the fact that in the US, we are most used to seeing white shelled eggs. In the UK, you're mostly going to find brown ones. Now, the other thing that kind of goes along with this is in the US, we store eggs in homes and in the grocery stores or supermarkets in the refrigerated section.
I'm going to pause it here for a second. So I know a little bit about this because people have commented on my videos previously saying, because obviously we store our eggs not in a chicken,
not in a real chicken.
but
in a ceramic chicken.
When I'm doing when I'm doing home vlogs, I normally store eggs outside of the fridge, and people are like, oh no, you can't do that, they should be in the fridge. And I'm like, no, our eggs are fine, because in the UK we have lots of like regulations and stuff on like pasteurizing the eggs to make sure that they're okay to eat.
We have like a little stamp on each egg, don't we, to say that they're okay and they've been inspected and
so you can eat British eggs, room temperature, not in the fridge, they keep for longer.
So is she saying that if you put your brown eggs in the fridge, they'll go white?
No, I don't think so. I think they're saying
shells change colour.
In the US, I think they have lots of white shelled eggs.
Right.
We do, because we do have white shelled, but
maybe it's the breed. Is it the breeder chicken?
I don't know.
Chicken?
I imagine it's something to do with that.
So don't put your brown egg in your fridge because it won't change colour.
But I'm intrigued to know a little bit more about how and why. So it's interesting that obviously she lives in the UK, so she has experienced both. So she should know her stuff.
Yeah. In the UK, you will not find the eggs in grocery stores in the refrigerated section. No. This is something that completely throws you off guard when you first move here and don't know to expect it, because you go up and down the aisles of the refrigerated section looking for eggs and wondering like why this supermarket doesn't have eggs. And then you find them like normally next to the bread.
Baking,
I've been to. There's also other places. Depends on the store. But I was so shocked the first time I found the eggs unrefrigerated next to the bread. And the reason for this is there are different processing techniques from the farm to the grocery store. Depending on the country, they leave on the protective layers here in the UK. That basically means that there is little chance of the bacteria or something going wrong with the egg not being refrigerated.
Yeah.
In the US, there's a really intense...
Don't wash... Yeah, because you know, you get your eggs and you get like a little bit of poo on them.
Don't wash
or a
them.
bit of because they're quite porous.
Yeah.
Apparently, the shell.
And they can
so if
take
you wash
in
them,
any of the...
it'll
Yeah, and I think what she's saying is, they must be washed or cleansed in the US, and that makes them more susceptible to bacteria. I think
must
is
be,
possibly what they're saying.
And that's why you've got to keep them
I think
in the
ours
fridge.
are a bit more natural, therefore they're more resilient to bacteria.
Throw anything at them and it won't hurt them. Yeah.
British chickens, we have the
they're
best hens.
Sturdy.
Yes.
Oh,
oh yes, you want to get yourself a British chicken, my loves.
Like washing system that actually strips the eggs of this protective coating, which means that it then is safer to leave them in the fridge. I'm not completely up to date on different food processing techniques, and so I'm not saying one is better than the other, but the countries do it differently, and because they do it differently, it means that the eggs can be stored or have to be stored in different ways. We actually store some of our eggs like on the counter and some of our eggs in the fridge, which I don't really know why we do that here in our house. But if you...
I mean, what, does she mean in the US or here in the UK? I
should imagine
you can put our eggs in the fridge. That's fine.
Yeah, well, no,
but in the US, if you were in the US, I imagine they have to go in the fridge, unless you have chickens of your own you pick the eggs and then you can do what on earth you want with them.
Yeah,
just don't wash them.
just don't wash them. Yeah.
Go into a British grocery store, do not look for the eggs in the refrigerated section.
Because you won't find them.
The next difference has to do with couponing culture. So if you've lived in the US or you know about the US or you've seen the show on TLC like Extreme Couponers, you might know that in the US we are a very coupon driven society when it comes to consumerism. So we just always like a coupon. We always like getting a deal, and it's not just like at the grocery store when something is naturally on sale, but we clip coupons. So different brands send out coupons, so you might get like $2 off certain brands at any store that you go to. And so a lot of people in the US...
I think we have a lot of online coupons on like store apps. So like I've got a Morrison's supermarket app, and then they'll have like offers and coupons, like electronic coupons. I think that's the way it's going in the UK.
I've got one for Asda, and they give you so much off different items.
Yeah, I mean I remember was it Farm Foods? They used to send out coupons
through the post.
Through the post. Do they do that anymore?
I think they still do.
Possibly. I think a lot of things gone on to like email and it sounds like in the US everything is still very paper.
They get a lot more coupons through than we have to sort of like almost have to research for our coupons.
Unless you've got like, if you've signed up with email or you've got an app and it just sends it to you. Let's carry on with this one.
Are used to like bringing their coupons to the checkout counter and getting deals. People get like their entire grocery shopping cart for very little money. This is the whole thing that people spend their time on doing. And just as a society, we are used to the idea of coupons. Here in the UK, really not the case. There are deals on things. You might go into the grocery store and something is marked down, or there's like a clearance sticker on it.
We have lots of like buy one get one frees.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Buy 3 for 2.
Or if you got a club card, the club card price is a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
or a bit cheaper.
Certain
than
supermarkets will
the
price match against other
shops
and things. So we do have quite a lot of deals, but no, I don't see many people at the checkout now with actual.
No.
When I used
We're
to
not
work,
coupon cutting nation.
but I think
really?
we've got worse than what we were with that, because when I used to work on a till as my first job when I was 18, lots of people would bring coupons and like petrol coupons, and there's all stuff like that. So
or there's just like a natural promotion that the store is running. But the idea of like a coupon book definitely is not in the UK. You wouldn't really clip coupons. Like, I'm trying to think of instances where I've had to present anything to get a deal. Like, there might be,
in the past,
but in general, the couponing
not
culture
really
of the US is not replicated in the UK. And the idea of like buying a book specifically full of coupons to use in various places, 100% not a UK thing.
A little bit off topic, but do you remember like the Green Shield stamps and stuff like that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And some supermarkets do like Christmas savings stamps. Do they still do that? Because I remember my nan always used to have a book.
I think the Co-op used to do them, but I don't know if they still do them.
I don't know. Like, you'd have a book with like sections, and then you'd buy stamps each week you went shopping, and they were worth, I don't know, £50 at the end of the year, and then you could exchange it for Christmas.
And people used to do, and I don't know if they still do, they might do, you'd say you order a hamper for Christmas from the butchers, which say if it's, I don't know, £50, and it's got, you know, a few blocks of meat and what have you in, and you can pay it throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really a coupon, but it's like a, something
like
of
a little savings.
Yeah, money life hack.
Yeah.
Save for a special occasion.
Yeah.
Sensibility. Another difference are the places that people travel to. So it goes without being said, different countries are going to be closer or further to different destinations. Obviously, in the US, I think we mostly travel within the country. And when we do travel outside of the country, popular destinations would be Canada, Mexico, and Western Europe, so coming to the UK. In the UK, people do travel to the States. Also, European travel is popular, but there are places that a lot of people have traveled here that I have never met anybody who had been there before in the US. Places like Thailand. It's really popular here.
I've been
to travel to Thailand.
Well,
it's a
traveled,
beautiful country.
I'm a typical Brit.
And if you take a survey of kind of your neighbors or your friends here in the UK, somebody is going to know somebody who's been to Thailand, who's gone to Thailand, or who has a trip planned. In the US, this is definitely not a destination that's really on our cultural radar in terms of, you know, being able to take a poll.
One thing I noticed when I've been on the cruise ships in recent years is that when we're in the Caribbean, it is mostly Americans, tourists.
Yeah.
And also, Americans don't get as much holidays as what we do. I imagine that's something that might come up. I don't know, but no, that, like, we've got like proper, you know, we've got 5 weeks statutory paid a year, and I don't think Americans do. There's no requirement for any set time off.
Yeah.
So I suppose they haven't really got the time to spend a whole day travelling somewhere that takes like a whole day to get to. They want to be somewhere a little bit closer, perhaps. So that kind of makes sense. But no, in the UK, we sort of go.
We go anywhere.
Anywhere.
We're not fussed where we go. We just go. Just like going anywhere.
That goes back to, remember, like the days when British explorers used to go off. Like, we are quite a well-travelled historical nation. You know, people back in the Victorian times, they used to go on the grand tour across Europe, and so I think
China
it's in our culture to be a little bit more
curious,
explorative, and curious, and we
like
to see the world. We conquer the world.
Yeah.
Don't let us come to your country. You'll be conquered.
You'll be conquered.
Ooh, yeah.
You'll be conquered.
Get your conkers out. Christmas or Easter.
Yeah, because they say happy holidays.
Happy holidays. And we do say that in the UK. That has come over a bit more, I think, from the States.
Yeah.
But a holiday for us is when we go to another country or we go to another place.
We go away somewhere and
and just some other like Asian destinations as well. And again, this is down to differences in geography and how close or far things are, as well as just the fact that, again, a lot of Americans, if they're going to travel abroad, they're coming here to the UK or somewhere in Western Europe. Here in the UK, they're going elsewhere. So that was another difference I noticed in terms of being able to chat to people about their vacations and where they had been. On the topic of vacations, let's talk about travel insurance, because this is another difference. And a lot of people that I've talked to in the UK don't realize the lack of travel insurance knowledge or culture in the US. Not that travel insurance is like a culture, but as a culture, we don't really get travel insurance. A lot of people haven't even heard of travel insurance. I am pretty sure I had not heard of travel insurance before I moved to the UK. Here in the UK, and I think in a lot of Europe, it's like you go on a trip and you get yourself some travel insurance. It's just considered a standard part of going on vacation.
Because what if something goes wrong?
Exactly.
Like if you're away and cause in the UK we've got the National Health Service, so if you're ill, you fall ill anywhere in the country, you are covered.
You're covered.
You don't have to present anything. You don't get a bill at the end of it. But like if you're in, for example, Spain and you fall ill,
what are you gonna do? You've got no travel. I think it's almost like Brits are a very cautious.
We are
very cautious nation.
And
like to think that we're prepared for
anything.
anything. Whereas Americans are like, come on, let's just do it.
Let's just do it and go, and we'll face the consequences if
caution to the wind.
Yeah. I'm quite surprised because you'd think that in the US they'd try and sell you anything and everything. So if they could push travel insurance on you, you'd thought the big companies would be pushing it.
We need to set our own travel insurance company abroad in America.
Elliot and April's Insure.
Yeah. A&E Insurance.
And if you take out the cover with us, we're not paying up.
No, we don't pay up.
No, we take the money.
We'll advise.
But we're not paying
out. No, it's very difficult.
We're going on holiday, as they say in the UK. That is definitely not a thing for Americans. And I was looking at some articles about this and some hypothesis about why this could be. Certain things of Americans are so optimistic, so we think that nothing is going to go wrong, even when we should plan for it. Things like, again, a lot of Americans are only taking trips domestically, so even though it does make sense, something could still go wrong from your trip to Texas to Montana. We don't really think of it in terms of a risk. Obviously, people do think of it more when they travel abroad.
I don't think we get travel insurance if we go from one end of the country to another.
No, don't need to go to, Cardiff or somewhere or Scotland.
The worst thing that can go wrong is medical. And we're covered in the UK because we have the National Health Service.
Anyway,
So in the UK and in Europe, when it is much more popular to leave your country, then that kind of comes into play more. And it's just something that in the States, people do get it. I'm not saying that it's not a thing. I'm just saying that it is definitely not as popular.
Buy your travel insurance, Americans.
Necessity in the way it is in the UK. The next difference has to do with banking, and I talked about banking in another video, but I want to talk about these card readers. So this is a device from Barclays, which is a...
Can I just say, I had one of them once with, I think it was...
I thought it was a calculator.
No, it's like what you put your card in, like, your chip and PIN card, your credit card.
Yeah.
And it, like, gives you put in a PIN number, it gives you access to your online banking.
Right.
But it's very old hat now.
We've got
People
phones.
don't normally have those card readers now. But I had one once. I didn't like it, so I actually got rid of that bank because I didn't like the fact that you had that. Whereas the bank that I'm with, you could just do it online and put in a password, and
you do it on your phone, don't you?
So I think these are a little bit odd. How old is this video? It is about 3. It's about 3 years old from 2021. So I think the card readers, you don't see them as much.
No.
A personal card reader. So if I were to log into my Barclays account, which I actually don't have anymore, and this is an old one, but I think you can use them across banks anyway. But it basically can help you log into your account. A lot of accounts nowadays will require a multitude of options, but one of them will be you can log in by putting in some details and using your card in the card reader. You click identify, you press your PIN into this personal card reader. It says, yes, that's correct. And it gives you a code that you then put in your online account to let you in. We don't have these in the US. We obviously have card readers when it comes to stores having a card reader for someone to pay, but the idea of having a personal card reader is 100% a difference between the countries. When I go to log into my US bank accounts, there is no card reader involved. It is not an option. It's not a thing that we are used to in the US. Now, I said I wasn't going to talk about driving on different sides of the road, which I'm not, but I am going to mention another difference between the UK and the US, which is the use of roundabouts.
We got many.
So in the US, I think we call them like traffic circles.
Oh my gosh.
But basically, instead of having traffic lights
and now we have traffic islands with traffic lights on them as well.
And we've also got islands that have got an island in.
And we've got mini islands. And we've got like an island that will have a short road that leads to another island.
Yeah.
They are supposed to keep the traffic flowing a lot better.
Yeah, supposedly.
Because in the US they build on the grid system.
Okay.
And we don't have a grid system. We've got wiggly waggly roads that bend and turn.
Yeah, because they're all mainly straight roads, aren't they?
And then they have lots of using the American word, the intersections with traffic lights.
Like spaghetti junction.
Crossroads, basically. Crossroads.
Yeah.
They have lots of crossroads. Whereas we are more...
We just like going roundabouts.
Roads everywhere. And I think that's
down lanes and bumpy wiggly
country lanes.
roads.
We like I love a country lane.
Yeah.
Here, all of the junctions, or what we would call intersections, are basically run by roundabouts, and that means that there is a pretty steady, constant flow of traffic. It's obviously not always going to be your turn, but if the traffic is clear, you go. As opposed to the US, where you can all be sitting at like 4 traffic lights, and they're all red, and you're like, when am I going to get to go? That wouldn't happen here in the UK. And a lot of people do think roundabouts are a superior traffic solution. However, I feel like they only make sense in a country that understands what to do with them. There was a really small traffic circle or roundabout that I remember from growing up that was like outside of a Target near my house. And nobody had a single clue of what to do with it. People just drove straight over the middle, thinking that it was kind of just there for fun if you wanted to. So if roundabouts, and I do know that there are places in the US with roundabouts, but if they were to become more a part of a country's traffic patterns, we definitely have to do some education for the Americans.
Do they not talk about roundabouts on driving tests? Americans, please answer, because I imagine that you do have traffic islands, so I imagine you would be taught about them
on how to
when
navigate
you're doing
them.
Your
Yeah,
drivers. I think they call it driver's ed, because of course they can learn to drive earlier than what we can.
They can. They have different ways of like teaching them to drive.
I have no idea.
And I think because I don't think they have to do a theory and a driving.
Let us know,
I don't know
if you've gone through the American driving. But I imagine, or is it just a case of they teach it you, and because you don't come into contact with them much, you forget what to do with them? I don't know. Please let us know.
Not used to that kind of traffic system. I also feel like roundabouts really make sense in a country where you don't have a gridded system. The roads are just all over the place, weaving in and out, and so putting in a roundabout I think is probably a little bit easier than dealing with in the US, especially where I'm from. Maybe not so much in the Northeast, but in a lot of places in the West and in the South, we have just straight gridded lines that intersect each other, and so we kind of think of the 4-way traffic light system making more sense. And the last difference I have to talk about is the difference between American and British sensibilities about plants and garden centers. So hear me out. So here in the UK, they have what they call garden centers, and this is basically a place that you can buy plants like garden decor or gardening supplies, but also there tend to be other things sold there. So having a gardening center, they usually have like a cafe that serves lunch and
Coffee shops, outdoor furniture, indoor furniture, ornaments,
house essentials,
home decor, plants.
Candles,
anything, everything. It's like a day. I mean, some of them are so big you could actually just spend like a whole,
you could get lost in it for the day. Yeah, that's why you need a cafe in.
And they've got inside, outside areas. They might have children's play park, clothes.
Oh yes, clothes, shoes.
I think some of them even have like farm shops or even like supermarkets.
Kids' toys, cuddly toys.
Anything and everything.
Snacks and tea. There can also be other things sold within the garden center that aren't even related, like clothes or something like that. And there is a cultural fascination with garden centers. When we were in lockdown in the beginning of this whole situation, that was one of the things that were first to open before everything else. Obviously, people could only do stuff outside and they wanted to garden and stuff. But I just thought that was so funny. There is such a cultural love, especially in certain areas and among certain age groups, for garden centers. Now, when you compare that to the US, and the reason I bring this up as a difference, is obviously you can buy plants in the US. We would call it a nursery, and not for children. For plants here in the UK, nursery is for children. But we would call it a nursery, and that would be to go and buy plants, but that would pretty much be the only thing you do there. And it's more of a get in and get out situation. Obviously, you might explore, kind of walk around a little, but there's usually not going to be anything else to do. It's a place to buy plants. And there's no sort of cultural love for nurseries. They're just places to buy plants. We also have, home improvement stores. So our version would be like Lowe's or Home Depot, but they also have those in the UK. It's called like B&Q is an example of one. So that also isn't really comparable to a garden center. Even though they might have a garden section, they're still not a place that you would go and you could actually meet somebody for coffee. Mostly kind of older people, though no shade to you if you are a younger person who loves garden centers. It's just more of a cultural love and fascination here with garden centers that we don't have in the US. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video on these kind of smaller and nuanced different...
Thank you, good garden lovers. We love a garden centre.
Yes, I do. I think also, I don't know, because of our environment in this country, we've got more greenery and that. I think we sort of appreciate it.
I think the seasonal weather as well, because like we change our plants often depending on the season. So we need to visit garden centres to get plants more often. Plus we get plants from supermarkets as well. Like they will have lots of plants that you can buy.
But do you think also, because like I'm assuming that majority of Americans, they live in apartments and places like that where they haven't got gardens as such.
It could be climate as well. They could be somewhere where it's like Texas and it's really hot.
Hot and dry.
You're limited.
You can have a cactus.
You can have a cactus. Have a cactus garden. But no, we love a garden centre.
Oh yeah.
And I suppose it would be a bit weird for someone coming over that doesn't really know what to expect from a garden centre.
It's like a day out at some
I love having what we call a mooch around.
A nice little mooch.
It's like having a look, having a bit of a browse.
You have a good old mooch. Then you go for a coffee, maybe a bit of cake or a sandwich. And then you're like, right.
I might just come out with
one thing.
You spent all day there and you come out with one tiny plant.
And it's usually the one that you see first. Oh, I like that. I'm going to get that. No, I'm going to see what else we've got.
They sell hot tubs. You can have like sheds, greenhouses, a garden gnomes,
animal food, dog food, cat food,
garden statues, anything,
bird feeders,
anything and everything. And at Christmas, they have all Christmas decorations.
Christmas tree, I love a decorated garden centre.
I love a Christmas garden centre. Maybe we should visit one for the podcast. And
there is one called the Christmas. Is it the Christmas shop or the Christmas shed?
I don't know.
At
where's that?
Mere Park.
Oh, yeah. I haven't been for a number of years, so that would be nice to go to. We could go and do a little bit of filming.
Yes.
Right. I think this video is getting long. So thank you for watching this video. If you want to see us react to more things of this nature, please leave a comment and a link to your suggestion, and we'll see if we can do it. So from us, until next time, to you all, and goodbye.